Matt Mike live on location on this Friday morning at Moorhead Country Club, getting ready for the opening round of the Red River Amateur Championship. Tee times got going here about 2.5 hours ago. My next guest gets going here in about, what do we got, about 3 hours for Jake Skarperud from Shanley High School, of course, North Dakota State golfer. It's great to see you, bud. Thanks for getting out here and joining me a little bit early. And here we go. It's go time. What's the mindset getting ready for round one?
Today it's, obviously a little bit windier, but, same as every time I play. It's just mentally prepared before the round and then make sure I'm loose leading up to it and then make some birdies, hopefully.
So we're texting last night. It's thundering, lightning. What's going through your mind? Like, okay, how's that going to affect what the course could look like today?
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't thinking too much of it. I mean, we're all going to be playing the same conditions. So, I mean, you kind of just got to let nature do its thing and then adapt when you get out there. That's the only thing you really can do.
This is almost like a mini Summit League championship for the amount of schools represented. Obviously, the Bison are here, the Jackrabbits are here, St. Thomas is represented. Does that get the juices flowing again? Like, hey, this is just like playing in school golf, right?
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, there's a lot of great colleges represented here.
UND obviously here as well.
UND, Florida Gulf Coast, Oklahoma. Yeah, there's a lot of great colleges, a lot of great players. So, yeah, and that's what a tournament's about. I mean, a lot of competitiveness and gets you going the day of.
We chatted when you committed. Of going to NDSU. Tell me, now you're 3 years in, the biggest change going from high school to college golf is what?
I would say growing up playing here, it was the length of the courses. I mean, we play hard courses all the time, but I think the length and how well good players hit from like 5 irons, 4 irons, it makes a huge difference when you're able to hit those irons well.
Describe your goals. Obviously this weekend is come here and win this thing.
Yeah.
Just what do you have to do over the next 3 days to make that happen?
I would say playing simple golf out here. There's a few holes that are a little bit quirky in the terms of you have to hit the right shots. And you don't need to go overboard and try to hit every perfect shot. So on a couple of those par fives, it's hitting the right shots off the tee and then not getting too greedy and laying up if need be, and hopefully making those 10, 15 footers throughout the week.
It's not necessarily go out and bomb it on every hole, right? You just got to be in the right spot, correct?
Exactly.
How different is that for especially guys these days, and I don't mean to disparage, but you want to go out there, hit it as far as you can, have a wedge, and tap in for birdie.
Yep.
How much different is that for this kind of event where, there's some holes, like right behind us, it's tight, but you can bomb it, this challenges your entire golf game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even like hole one, if it's playing a par 4, it's, before it's a par 5, you can kind of spray it off the tee, but you got to lock in some of those par 5s like hole 15.
Yeah.
You have to hit a good tee shot. If you don't, if you miss left, you're possibly in the water, and if you miss right, you're laying up no matter what. Hopefully you have a shot. So, I mean, you got to hit those right shots.
I remember a couple years ago, 2 years ago, the second round, you had a dynamite round. I think you may have had the best round of the day next to Josh, who was just crazy that whole tournament, and the weather was bad. Is there anything like when things aren't great, granted I know where you grew up, that playing in bad weather suits your game?
I mean, I think more so it's the mental side of things. I remember it raining a couple years ago, and it's like, okay, you got to just embrace it. And I remember being completely soaked head to toe and just no rain gear on, just embracing it. And I think that's what you kind of got to do and enjoy it as much as you can.
Was that on purpose, no rain gear?
Wasn't on purpose, but it worked out.
Last year I know was a struggle. How difficult is that, knowing the game's it might be just a hair off? How frustrating is that to play like that?
It is frustrating because this is a course where, like I said, there are some quirky holes, so if you're not hitting it well, I mean, you can make some big numbers out here, and I did that last year on hole 7, so it's tough, but again, it's all mental. You got to be sharp mentally and be able to adapt.
Looking who you're playing with here today, you're playing with Nate Pearl, who obviously you know from West Fargo Cheyenne, from UND, Sam Baker, who plays at Florida Gulf Coast, yourself, and then Gavin Newkirk from St. Thomas, another guy you know.
Yeah.
How much does that help for maybe going out and shooting a low score with the guys you're playing with?
Yeah, I would say it helps just knowing the guys you're with, but also it creates that competitive juice throughout the round. And I mean, you want to beat the guys you're playing with, just like any tournament, but it'll be a lot of fun. Those guys are all great guys, and I look forward to playing with them.
I know we had Ian on the show yesterday, and Sam was talking to him about the year for Bison Golf. How would you describe, as a team-wise, how would you describe 2025?
I would say it was very enjoyable. We played some good golf. We won a couple tournaments.
Yeah.
We did play well at conference, obviously. Didn't have it all 3 days, but we played well, but it was a lot of fun. Those new guys that came in, Sean Moore, Carter Spalding, it was a blast, and having Coach there too, he was amazing.
You feel like you have one more day at conference, you can win that?
I do.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it's the way that you guys seemed like you guys were playing in the final round. That one more day, you might have been able to catch Oral Roberts.
Exactly. Yeah.
We talked. Obviously, we had Coach Kennedy on a couple weeks ago once he made the big announcement. Were you guys in the loop? Was that out of left field that this was going to happen?
It wasn't out of left field. We knew that it was going to come. Whether it was this year or next year, obviously we didn't want it to come, knowing the guy he is and the coach he was. But it was expected. Obviously, it sucks to be in that position, but we're all happy for him and just happy to be a part of his legacy.
Give me a backstory of him recruiting you. Obviously, you've known Coach forever, being from Fargo, but what was that backstory? What was the recruiting story like?
The biggest thing for me was I remember I broke my arm junior year hockey game.
Yeah, that's right.
Third place game, last game of the season, and was out most of junior year, and arguably that's the most important season.
Yep.
Leading into senior year, and I remember he was one of the few coaches that were still interested after that.
No kidding.
So gave me that shot, and I knew under him, with the teams he's built up, whether it was high school or college, I knew that he was the guy to go to.
Did you still lace up the skates now? Have you done that
I
since?
do, yeah. Last year I actually coached South Shanley Hockey
Nice.
JV, so that was a lot of fun. So
the impact he's had, and I think people in the golf world know it. The fact that he coached at Fargo South, he coached Tom Hoagie, he coached NDSU to its first Summit League championship. What do we not know? What does impact mean, maybe not on the course, for you going forward?
I was just going to say, obviously he's had such a great and huge impact on the golf side, but he's an even better person. He's the guy that you would go to for anything and everything. He was like a father figure to all of us. He was the person that you wanted to go see at practice.
Can you tell us the beach story now?
Oh boy, I don't think so.
He broke it on the show a couple weeks
boy.
ago. I guess, what was your reaction when you found out where you were?
It was shocking. I mean, we were hiking down this huge cliff, and all of a sudden it was like, lo and behold, it was this huge thing, and man, it was shocking. But it was one of those things.
Fantastic.
Obviously, with Coach, it's like another great story.
Yes, it's another one to add to the pile, right?
Exactly.
You got to play everywhere. You play at Bethpage, you played at Chambers Bay, you played Torrey Pines. All of those are U.S. Open courses. I mean, I don't know if that's in the recruiting pitch, but that's a heck of a way to get a guy to come play golf there.
I don't think it was when I came on, but now it's it's like, holy cow! Look at all these unbelievable courses that we've played, and going down to Mexico and. Basically traveling the world, so it's been amazing.
What was Bethpage experience like? Obviously, the Ryder Cup is going to be there this fall. We're hosting that.
Yep, it was pretty cool. We played Bethpage Red in the practice round in the first 2 days, and then when you go from Bethpage Red to Bethpage Black, it's a complete different ball game, and the rough there is unbelievable. But it was in great shape.
So for viewers that don't follow golf, the black course has the warning sign.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yep.
Did you take a picture of that when you were out there?
We all took a picture by the sign, and if we had a bad score, it was like, all right, well, this is what we were.
Is it legit though? Is it like the warning? Like it's well earned, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a very tough course.
Was there a course that stood out this year you played? Like, boy, this was a lot of fun to get a chance to play there.
You know, that Florida Gulf Coast course, I can't remember the name of it, but that course was a really good course, and it was a hard course. Unfortunately, the greens weren't in the best condition due to the hurricane, but that was a lot of fun playing that course and in that weather.
I know you got a tee time coming up here. We got a few minutes left with you. The Fargo golf scene, you grew up in it. Obviously, it just keeps getting better. We see more young players that are going to be playing here this weekend that are either from Fargo, Grand Forks, Moorhead. What is it about this area that's produced some dynamite players?
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the community. I think every course, whether it's private or public, has that group of kids that are playing together. And then even when I grew up, it was kind of Oxbow and FCC were the two main groups with all the kids and stuff, and we did Ryder Cup games. We did Oxbow versus FCC, so it was that for sure, the community.
You got your buddy Sean Moore about to tee off. What can you tell us about him, about his game?
He's a good player. He'll continue to develop, and his swing is unlike any other. And he just started playing golf not too long ago.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Do you have a little competition among the Bison guys here this weekend of low Bison? Is that a competition going on?
There always will be competitions and bragging rights for sure.
The level of competition here, how much is that a springboard, and what else you got going on this summer? Obviously, you got some bigger events. Obviously, Birchmont, Pine to Palm still coming this summer.
Yeah, so this kind of kicks off the summer for me. I was fortunate enough to play well in the Minnesota Open last year, so I don't have to qualify for the AM or Open.
All right.
So next up will be the Open and AM,
nice.
and then Birchmont and Pine. So it'll be a full summer again, but it'll be a blast.
Any of those courses stand out? Detroit Country Club is again unique in its own right, but the other ones you're going to be playing that suit your game.
I've heard some really good things about Rochester Country Club. That's where the Open's at, and then I think one of my favorite courses ever is Bemidji Town and Country Club, and
you and your dad played there against one another years ago, right?
Yeah. So that course I think suits me well, and I really enjoy it out there.
I got to ask that with Coach Kennedy moving on, do you have any insight of who the next men's golf coach is going to be at NDSU?
I don't, but I'm very hopeful that NDSU will pick a great guy. Obviously, you can't replace a guy like Kennedy, but good things to come.
I'm interested, Jake, knowing obviously the lion's share of attention these days, college athletics, doesn't matter where, football, basketball, certainly the case at NDSU. How much are you following what's going on with either the House settlement or NIL? Like, I know that more lion's share is going to go to football or to basketball. But there are colleges now that are cutting golf programs, that are cutting track programs. Is that scary right now?
It is scary, but also at the same time, golf is such a huge thing. Even though we only play 6 months out of the year, it's such a huge thing around here, and golf in itself has grown so much since COVID, where it doesn't worry me too much, and honestly, we're just fortunate enough to be at a school like NDSU or the other schools in town where it's valued.
The investment in it is different, right? I mean, obviously you have the indoor putting green inside the shack. You guys have the indoor facility. How often are you pounding balls in there?
Yeah, we go in there all the time, and we practice every day in the IPF, the football facility, and that's helped tremendously. And then also, our simulator and putting green, all of us are up there every day, and it's fun.
Are you in there when the football team is working out, and how does that go?
Yep. So they'll open the garage doors, and you can hear them yelling and screaming and pounding weights, and it's different than our workouts.
I was going to say, what are your workouts consist of? We know what football goes through. What you guys got going on?
Not the same intensity, but still get some work done.
I had somebody email me to ask, was hockey ever a road you consider going down, or was it always golf?
It wasn't when I got to high school, but looking back, it was one of those things where, man, I wish I would have just put a little bit more effort in. But, I really enjoyed hockey, and that's kind of the part of the reason why I helped coach last year. And I miss being around that intensity level and that competitiveness. But so I miss it.
You're going to do it again?
I think so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now that Chanley has its own team coming in 2026. Last thing before I let you go, what's it going to take for you to win this weekend?
I think consistency, and the weather will come on its own, and mentally being prepared for whatever comes to me.
It might get hot this weekend. How do you handle that? We're not used to that in this part of the world, at least this early in the year.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, one thing that helps me with the heat is having a wet towel and being able to keep your hands dry.
It's great to see you, man. Thanks for making some time for us, especially playing today. Have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate
great to see you. Jake Skarperud joining us from Shanley High School, North Dakota State junior golfer. You'll see him as part of our featured coverage today. Goes off at 12:25 this afternoon. We'll break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. We're live on location here at Mora Country Club. Hot Mike back on WTAY Extra right after this.